because they did add a lot to the line. I mean, they have DJ Jones, who I was pretty high on, and Kyle and I talked a lot about him. I mean, he's a very good run stopper. Stopper. What am I talking about here? Run stopper. And then you
got to stop the run and you got to stuff the run. You know.
Yeah, exactly. I just blended those words together.
Stuff the run.
Stuffer.
Stovetop stuffing. What are we talking about here, dude?
Go Bolt Bros. Subscribe.
Let's go. Boom.
Bros.
Bolt Bros.
Yeah.
Alrighty, guys. Bolt Bros here. We want to talk to you about the Broncos the additions that the Broncos made in free agency, right? I mean, look, big splashes, right? I mean, they came out. Look, what was the big offseason conversation, right? They were going to get who? Aaron Rodgers, and they didn't get Aaron Rodgers. They got the offensive coordinator for the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
They did not get Aaron Rodgers. Packers paid him ungodly amount of money. Don't get me wrong; he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He deserves it. But at the end of the day, they ended up with Russell Wilson. What do we think about that, guys?
I mean, that was a pretty big move, landmark move for sure.
Yeah. A big move. And the thing is, though, with Nathaniel Hackett, when they hired him in, I said, if they don't get Aaron Rodgers, that's a failure in his coaching for them getting hired. So for him to flip it to Russell Wilson, like almost hours after everything happened with Aaron Rodgers, I mean, I think that was really just a big cover-up. Hey, I'm not saying Russell Wilson's not a good quarterback, but, I mean, I think he had to do that as a new head coach. I mean, we all know. I mean, seeing the amount of quarterbacks, I think they've gone through 11 quarterbacks or something ridiculous like that since Peyton Manning's left.
Right.
I mean, they had to find stability, and they had to make a move. It seemed like they gave up a lot, but, dude, they need to have stability in that position.
Well, let's call a duck a duck. I mean, it's really hard to find a legendary quarterback. And the Broncos right now have a track record for bringing in established quarterbacks. And the truth is, they have a history of actually winning a Super Bowl that way too. Like that's how they just won it recently with Manning. I mean, they were. I mean, if you guys weren't paying attention, they were really close to getting into the playoffs as well. And if they had a better quarterback, Teddy Dogwater is
Dogwater.
He didn't Dogwater. Where'd that come from?
That was out of left field, dude.
That's what they call him, man. He's Teddy Dogwater, you know.
I didn't think it was a good quarterback either, but I mean, whatever. That's cool. Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if they picked up a quarterback in the draft. I mean, of course, this is a really light quarterback draft, right? So it's kind of like an arms race. All these quarterbacks are going big dollars. And so, so let's talk about their offense, though. Right? I mean, they got Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, man, Bradley Chubb. I mean, they're stacked, man. I mean, they have I will say this: they will score with Russell Wilson. So that's going to happen. Yeah. And I don't know, man. I mean, I think this is, some pretty good moves. I mean, I would definitely say the offensive line is pretty good as well, from what I could tell. Just they didn't have a quarterback to throw the ball accurately to anybody. So.
Well, the one thing too is that they have a very good running back. Javonte Williams, I think, is a fantastic back, and not having Melvin Gordon back there, and to be able to have Javonte as their bell cow, I think he'll be a phenomenal running back. And this is his second year in the league, so I think he'll do really well. The thing is, though, with Jerry Jeudy, I mean, he was a high draft pick. Yep. And, some of my friends that are Broncos fans kept talking about all he was is stone hands, and he was just dropping passes left and right.
Be a bad quarterback throwing at him, though.
Bad quarterbacks.
Makes a big difference.
Yep. Yeah. And you guaranteed Russell Wilson came in day one and was like, hey, Jerry, let's go out and go throw some passes around. Yep. Let's get some, let's find what plays work well for you. Because, I mean, he needs everybody to be on the same page.
Exactly. 100%.
And they're probably already doing that. Yeah, they're probably already out there doing reps,
100% they are, man. And so it was interesting because I was kind of looking at, because Russell Wilson's issue since the last Super Bowl has been offensive lines. It's been just a hodgepodge of players. And so, and the Broncos didn't have the best line. I mean, they had 19th last year in the league. Yeah. But And I was thinking, oh man, he's gonna have a way better offensive line than Seattle. Well, Seattle 25th last year, so
yeah, they were pretty bad.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it's not like a huge change, but like they have a little bit better of a situation for him. I mean, he's gonna have a legit running back. I mean, in Seattle with Russell, there was a lot of injuries in the running back position. There was a lot. I swear they went through 3 or 4 different running backs last year. If you're drafting any running backs for your fantasy league, it was a nightmare dealing with Seattle. So
yeah,
but it'll be interesting what they do. I mean, now they got a guy who's an offensive mind coordinator here, so we'll see how he could really change this offense. Is it going to be Russell Wilson, or is the offensive coordinator going to do a good job of making sure these guys are all on the same page and create some interesting plays for them? So it'll be interesting to see how they could turn that around.
Yeah.
What do you think there, Kyle, as far as the offense is concerned?
Yeah, so I mean, looking at their statistically, like they relied heavily on the run game last year.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, because both Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams like put up about 900 yards each. And that's big. Like, I mean, like right now, like you look across the league, everyone is passing like crazy, you know, and especially in the AFC Best here, every play. Like quarterback is going to be putting up like 4,000, 5,000 yards like a season. Thing is though too is like I feel like they gave away a lot for Russell Wilson.
Yes, they gave away a lot,
and
a lot.
They're not going to be that good offensively for a couple of years. I feel like because they gave away Noah Fant. He wasn't a great tight end according to some of the Broncos fans, but he was decent, you know, and he performed with Mr. Dogwater, you know. So,
well, and Drew Lock, you know,
and they gave away Drew Lock too, So, but I mean, he wasn't that fantastic. He was not a lockdown quarterback either, though. So,
well, you also got to wonder if he just didn't perform in that offensive scheme too, right? Sometimes I ask that question, but again, it really boils down to accuracy, especially in the NFL in general, right? It's all about accuracy. That's one of the things that a lot of people talk about with. Any quarterback in the NFL, you have to be accurate and your timing has to be on point. And if you're not, then you will not succeed in the NFL. And that's just how it is.
Yeah.
So, and look, Russell Wilson's done it, right? He's excellent, right?
Yes.
I think, I tell you, I feel like that is a big step up for them because how are they going to do defensively this year? You lose Vic Fangio. By the way, we're going to talk about the Chargers later, but that's where Brandon Staley got his start through Vic Fangio. And we all know he's a major defensive mind.
Yeah.
I think they're going to struggle defensively this next year. Plus, they got like a first-year D coordinator on the list. I think they're going to score points, but they might be the Chargers of last year where they score a bunch of points but then can't stop the other team from scoring points in the AFC. That's at least how I see it right now. I don't know, James, Kyle, what do you think?
Yeah, and I definitely think that too. I mean, Vic Fangio, even a lot of the Broncos fans out there hated him.
My gosh.
I mean, they were
weird. I don't know why they hate him so much.
He I don't know. He had a really bad game management situation. It was kind of similar to like what Anthony Lynn had.
Anthony Lynn, that's a good point. I remember that.
Just couldn't figure out how to manage a game properly, how to be able to utilize timeouts at the right time. Just kind of boneheaded moves at certain times and such. But, you know, it's going to be interesting because they did add a lot to the line. I mean, they have DJ Jones, who I was pretty high on, and Kyle and I talked a lot about him. I mean, he's a very good run stuffer. What am I talking about here? Run stuffer. And then you
got to stop the run and you got to stuff the run. You know.
Yeah, exactly. I just blended those words together.
And stuff the run.
Stuffer.
Stovetop stuffing. What are we talking about here, dude? But having him on the line, and then you brought in Randy Gregory, which was kind of interesting to how he kind of spurred off like the Dallas Cowboys. All of a sudden, it was like, nah, I'm going to go over here to the Broncos for whatever reason. I think it was a contract issue and language and everything, and he just flipped over to go to the Broncos. The thing is, though, with Randy, he's had a lot of issues with substance abuse, mostly just like marijuana. Ironically, he's going to a state where it's legal, so who knows? But the NFL still doesn't want you to smoke weed. So, and then you got Bradley Chubb on the other side. I mean, they have built a strong defensive line to where I do feel that this division's going to have a hard time for people to run through those defensive lines. So, I think it's just going to be an interesting thing. A first-time defensive coordinator. I think his name is Giro Evero, I think is how I pronounce it. Evero. Yeah. And he was with the Rams the last 2 years, so safeties, defensive back coach, passing game coordinator. I mean, everybody's grabbing everybody they possibly can. Even the Water Boys are getting interviews for coaching jobs, I think, these days from the Rams.
Yeah, from the Rams.
There's a lot of good talent come from there. I mean, heck, that's where Brandon Staley came from. So
well, and they're basically just going to mimic Brandon Staley's defense. That's all they're going to do.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. The whole reason why they're look, let's face it. The only reason why this guy got the job was because the Rams had an excellent defense last year.
Yep.
You could argue all day that he wasn't really that great. I'm sure he's probably not that great, but he's got the defensive book and he's just going to run it, right? Hey, this is how we do it. You do this, you do that, and that's fine, right? But at the end of the day, again, new coaching staff, right? First-time head coach, first-time defensive coordinator. Guys, that's tough, right? Yeah. It's tough to succeed in that right now. I think they're lucky because they have Russell Wilson. He's going to step in there and really be solid. He will definitely stabilize scoring points, but I don't know. I mean,
it'll definitely make it a little easier. Yeah.
Yeah, it will. It will. I mean, if I were to give them a grade, and by the way, I'm only giving them this grade because they got a new quarterback, and the new quarterback is a huge improvement from last year. I mean, we're talking
massive.
I mean, Locke was horrible. Dogwater was not good either. I mean, he got lucky half the time. I was like, oh my God, he's just tossing the ball up, and like, what happened there?
Yeah, exactly.
He gets lucky, but hey, it is what it is. Actually, another Bronco I want to bring up is Tim Tebow. I still hate that guy, by the way. Remember whole Tim Tebow? Gosh, that guy bothers me. I can't even see him on TV. It just angers me. Anyways, if I were to give them a rating, I would say, man, a B plus. I would say B plus because Russell Wilson's a big improvement, man. I mean, they're at least going to score points, and I think they have the defensive talent to be successful. But boy, it's a new coaching staff, so I don't know. How is it going to really? I would say B plus. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I was going to say though, I mean, defensively, I feel like obviously DJ Jones was their top dog pickup right there because
sure
he's gonna make a huge impact on their line for sure right away. But Randy Gregory, on the other hand, they're paying way too much damn money for him. I'll say that much for sure, and he's. Because of his off-the-field excursions, I should say, he's only going to be playing like half the season. So, because he's going to get caught up on something, and then he's not going to be on the field as much. So I think they're paying way too much for him to play, and we'll just see. But yeah, you guys are right though. Like I mean. New coaches all around, and they'll have to figure out some stuff before they anything else. And you know what? They better just do it without cheating too, because we all know he took that out of Belichick's book already too. So I guess for my grade, I would say actually I'm gonna go with a B minus. And I guess that's being a little generous. And biggest thing is of course is Russell Wilson. And truth is, I realized this the other day. Russell Wilson was Seattle's version of Justin Herbert. Because, let's realize this. Seattle was nothing until they had Russell Wilson. They went to the Super Bowl a couple times, and they won the Super Bowl. So, that's going to be Justin Herbert for us. So
yeah, for sure.
For sure. You heard it here.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, and now they're in a rebuilding phase for sure.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
100%.
Sure. Yeah, it's an interesting thing because, even if you go down the list of the defensive talent that the Broncos have, and they probably, will probably run Brandon Staley's defense, which ironically, if it's under the Vic Fangio defense, it's kind of like a similar transition for them. So there might not be that bad of a transition for their defense if they kind of stay under that Vic Fangio, Brandon Staley defense. I mean, you still have plenty of talent. Justin Simmons is a great free safety. You got Pat Surtain too. Yep. They got Ronald Darby there. I mean, Bradley Chubb on the edge with Randy Gregory. I mean, and DJ Jones is stuff the middle. The biggest thing about this is that trade with Russell Wilson is really going to hinder their future for them. And once again, they had to make a change and they had to find somebody to quarterback this team. I mean, they gave up Shelby Harris, who is a really, really good defensive lineman for them, which that was a big loss. Noah Fant too was a good tight end. Now, Drew Lock too. I believe Shelby Harris and Noah Fant were all on 1-year contracts too. So maybe they just thought, hey, we're going to move on from these guys regardless.
Sure.
But giving up those 2 first-round picks for the next 2 years, 2 second-round picks for the next 2 years, I mean, that takes away like the talent for you and to be able to grow your talent. So if they don't have a lot of salary cap, which I didn't look into that for the next couple of years, they're going to struggle to be able to keep pace with the AFC West.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
And once again, Russell Wilson could be in that other situation where he's just got a bad offense line and a bad offense around him that really just can't produce enough for them to be able to be competitive. So, I mean, I hate to say it, but yeah, I'd probably, Kyle's probably right now. I feel like I want to lean on a C+ with these guys, and I hate keep saying that, but like, it's just because they really hindered their future, in my opinion. And
yeah,
I just feel like there's going to be loss for them, and unless if they don't have a lot of salary cap coming up, I mean, it's going to be tough for them to kind of stay afloat in the division.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and again, we all know that it's kind of like an arms race in the AFC West right now, man. Everyone's got to be just getting bigger and better, and you know what? It is what it is, right? But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think, man, Broncos are improved, right?
Yes.
And I'm excited to see them do well. Compete against the Chargers. They're going to be competitive games, so I'm excited for that. But yeah, so obviously Broncos are improved, and go Bolt Bros. Subscribe.
Let's go. Boom.
Bros.
Bolt Bros.
Yeah.